everybody, Ryan here. Cheers. Today we're going to be carbonating this keg. I just put the garbage porter in it, and I thought it'd be just kind of fun, just go through a process I've kind of started to play with on how to force carb keg in a fairly quickly way. And this isn't anything new. There's a lot of other videos out about it, but I've tried this particular way one time before. I thought it worked really well, so I'm gonna try it again. Just a little background info on this beer. This was the garbage porter that we brewed. Well, you probably watched me brew it in the last video if you watched that, where it was just a bunch of leftover specialty grains I had. So I also put the floating dip tube in this keg. I've used that. That's actually being used by my Zypho Summit IPA. That's in the kegerator right now. Seems to work really well, so I put the second one in here to see how it goes. So if you haven't kegged before, as long as you know how to use a siphon your beer into the keg just like you would a bottling bucket. And that's all I've done so far, so there's still a little bit of oxygen on the top. So first thing we're gonna do is try to purge that oxygen out. I don't get too paranoid about this. You know, as far as making sure it's all gone, I just haven't had a lot of issues with it anyway, but I still do it just so I can say that I did really right. The real danger of having oxygen in there is that you could oxidize your beer and it'll kind of give it a weird cardboardy flavor. So I'm putting the gas line on the end, and I'm going to turn this all the way down to let's see, like 5. And we'll just pull on the release valve here a few times. Also, when you hook the gas up, ooh, that smells good. It's a good idea to spray everything down some Star Sand, just to make sure there aren't any leaks. You know, you can use soapy water too. I just like to use Star Sand because it won't leave that soap behind. I like to do this 3 or 4 times. Alright, I'm confident it's probably all gone. So for this next step, I'm going to crank the pressure up to 30 psi. The gas line at 30 psi. We're going to tilt our keg on its side, but keep the gas line up. You know, my regulator has a check valve in it, so it shouldn't let any beer try to come back up, but I have heard of some people who don't have check valves on the regulators. It's really kind of a bad idea to have one of those, but you know, sometimes we got what we can get, right? And so go ahead and just lay it down. And you need to do this for 10 to 15 minutes. And as you're doing it, you're going to hear the CO2 going in. You're going to hear a clicking noise inside of mine because there's a float on that dip tube, that floating dip tube that I have. So it's going to hopefully not bang right off of the, and hopefully I don't break it. This is, I kind of didn't want to do it this way, or with this on there the first time, but worst case, if I have to, I can put the other tube in if I accidentally lose the end of this. But you need to do this for 10 to 15 minutes. Last time I did about 10 minutes, it was done. You didn't hear any more CO2 coming out. All right, it's actually been about 7 minutes now. I don't hear any more gas going in, so yeah, there's no more gas going in there at this point. So I'm gonna call it quits. That may happen. It's okay. 10 minutes is probably just a good a good goal point, I guess I should say, where you're probably in the good spot. You are going to want to let this sit in your kegerator for at least 24 hours just to make sure it gets cold. I'll probably be drinking it. Let's see, it's 2 o'clock now. I'll probably be drinking it about 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And it won't be the best carbonated beer, I don't believe, from what I remember last time. But it'll be drinkable. It won't be flat. So this is just kind of a decent way to try to get some carbonation in your beer quick. I've tried doing it where you can also rock the keg when it's cold after you've let it sit in there for a day and then do it. But that usually just causes me to have a huge mess because when you need to lower the pressure, after doing that, you end up getting just a ton of foam coming out. At least that's what happened to me the one time I tried doing it cold, like right before I wanted to drink it. This way, at least you've gotten a lot of CO2 in the beer, and as it gets cold, it'll absorb more. So, like I said before, when you get ready to serve it, turn down your regulator. You may want to shut it off. If you don't have a check valve, shut off your regulator. Turn it down to where you want it, about 8 to 10 psi. Vent all the gas through your release valve here, assuming you have a ball lock keg, and then turn your gas back on. I have a check valve, so I don't worry about that. And a lot of regulators that if you buy them new will have a check valve in it, so you don't really need to worry about it. But if you're not sure, it's easy enough to play it safe. So, all right. So I'm gonna put this in, and then tomorrow night I'm gonna have a little brewski, a little homebrew.